Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today is Fragrance Friday and I am sharing some of my favorite fun and flirty date night fragrances. And I think these would be so perfect right now over the summer. The restaurants here are closed, so unfortunately we can't go out to a restaurant. But even if you can't leave your house, you can still get dressed up, have a date night in, get creative. The common denominator I found when choosing the fragrances that I wanted to talk about today is that they are all very playful. So this is not super sexy, moody, serious date night. This is maybe a touch more youthful. I think all of these fragrances would be perfect for a night out dancing, maybe clubbing with friends. I wouldn't know. I haven't set foot in a nightclub in years, so I'm certainly not the authority there. But these are the fragrances that are great for those occasions that you just want to spice things up. You know, you gotta spice things up every once in a while, especially now. The very first fragrance is brand new to my collection. I just picked this up a little while ago, and this was part of my Sephora wish list. Earlier this week, I shared my fantasy cart. What can I say? I'm turning dreams into reality. This is from Killian. It's called After Sunset. It says fun things always happen after sunset. The names always have the name in red, but then an extended version. Go ahead. I figured I might as well unbox this. Ooh. The bottle of these fragrances is so funny. So it sits like this, but then you have to take off the top, and then the fragrance is in the round part. I don't know, it's starting to grow on me. Something different, definitely stands out. The original Killian bottles are a lot more classic, more traditional looking, but this is part of the fragrance line that has a more introductory price point. So this 1 ounce bottle is $75, whereas the original Killian, I want to say they start at $240, so far more reasonable. After Sunset is a fresh citrus. It has blackcurrant, lychee, and rose. I'm reading now about the bottle. It says it's a little balm of seduction inspired by contemporary art. It is both a mini sculpture and a bold declaration. So that makes sense now. Fun things always happen after sunset. It does sort of look like a little sculpture. So this is going to be my fragrance of the night. I'm going to wear this fragrance for the first time, and then the rest I'll spray on the little blotter cards. The way I discovered this fragrance is sort of funny. I was sent a little sample with one of my previous Sephora orders, and the first time I smelled it, I thought it was so generic. Just nothing special. It smelled like every other floral fragrance that I had ever smelled in my entire life. I immediately threw the sample away, didn't think twice about it, but as time went on, I kept smelling my arm, and it got a little bit nicer. Well, after about an hour, I was addicted to this fragrance. So I already know that the first spray is not going to do it justice. The beauty is in the dry down with this fragrance. And the top notes aren't bad. It doesn't smell bad ever. It's just kind of like a nice floral fragrance. It's later on that you think, ooh, no, this is better than that. It is really good. We're not there yet, but this is a fragrance that takes time, and once it dries down, it is so sexy, and I just cannot stop smelling it. I just keep smelling and smelling and smelling, and I don't want to smell anything else. It's so nice. It's getting there now. It smells good, but I know probably an hour from now, my nose is going to be stuck to my arm because I just can't get enough of it. It is so unique. On the back of the box, there's this little note. It says, I created After Sunset a fresh and energizing fragrance to express the moment just after sunset, right before nightfall when work hard turns into play hard. I completely agree. I think this is such a fun, flirty fragrance. Next on my list is Good Girl by Carolina Herrera. I haven't talked about this in such a long time. But you can just tell by the bottle that this is a very flirty, very sexy date night fragrance. And I usually don't love bottles like this. I make an exception for Carolina. I think she is beautiful. Good Girl is a warm floral fragrance with tuberose, jasmine, and tonka bean. And the stiletto heel bottle represents the power of modern femininity. This one I'm going to spray on my little blotter card. Oh, so nice. Now this is true love at first sight. It's very different from After Sunset, which is still not exactly where I want it to be. This is just beautiful right off the bat. I wore this a couple days ago, and as it dries down, it's even more sensual. This is a pretty serious, sexy date night fragrance. I think it is somewhat playful. It's just beautiful. I think if you did wear this out dancing one night, you would definitely meet somebody. That's how great this fragrance is. Incredibly feminine. Somewhat sweet as well. That tonka bean gets me every time. So good. It is so delicious. So sexy. Definitely a warm floral. It doesn't smell like any other floral you can think of. Beautiful. Between the fragrance and this bottle, it is the complete package. I think if you were looking to narrow down your collection to one go-to date night fragrance, this could easily be a great choice. So pretty. Next up is a twist on the classic. And actually, I guess it's a twist on the twist of the classic. If you're familiar with YSL Opium, which was incredibly popular decades ago, it's still available, but it is far less visible. I think most people now are familiar with Black Opium. Well, this is Black Opium Neon. I think it came out last year at some point, and you can tell by the bottle that this is the party sister of the two. It's warm and spicy. Keynotes include neon coffee, whatever that is, orange blossom, and dragon fruit. The neon version is described as vibrant and indulgent, seductive and sweet, and that is exactly how I would describe it. It is very sweet right off the top, and if I didn't know better, it might turn me off. And that depends on the person. You know, some people really love those sweet gourmand fragrances. This sweetness has a bit of a bite to it. It's like, ooh, that is really sweet. It's not like a yummy baked goods, ooh, yummy, that's sweet type of fragrance. Candy sweet. So nice. And maybe it's the dragon fruit. I'm not familiar with dragon fruit. I've heard of dragon fruit. I know it's a note in fragrance. I think it's a flavor of fruit juice probably. But I don't think I've ever seen a dragon fruit in real life. I don't think I've ever tasted a dragon fruit. How does one obtain a dragon fruit? I could probably Amazon Prime one. There is something about this fragrance. And I love the original Black Opium. I think that is an incredible, sexy fragrance. Great for date nights, but the neon is the fun, flirty version. After a minute or so, it really mellows out. Completely different. It loses that sweet bite that you get right off the top, and it just becomes very lovely. It's sort of a soft, slightly warm and sensual floral fragrance. Really nice. If you love Black Opium, give Black Opium Neon a chance. You might be surprised. And I think the bottle is even more beautiful. It's slightly elongated and it's pink. Pink truly does make everything better. So next let's talk about Valentino Pink. This is another twist on the classic because it's a different interpretation, a newer interpretation of the original Valentina. This came out in 2015, I believe, and it is a very fun, flirty fragrance for all of my fellow rose lovers, and I know you're out there. Valentino Pink is cheerful and energetic. It has a fruity accord, strawberries, and blackberry musk. It has a heart of May rose, centifolia rose, rosebuds and peony, and cashmere, amber, and praline in the base. There was another version of this fragrance, and I just tried to find it, and I couldn't. It came in a really pretty soft, almost beige bottle. That fragrance was also really beautiful, but I do love this pink. It is so sweet and fruity right off the top. Again, a fragrance that you could easily write off. Think it's nothing special, but wow, just wait with this one. I was wearing my Valentina just the other day because it had been a while, and it finally occurred to me what it reminds me of. It smells nearly identical to the Maison Dior fragrance Rouge Trafalgar, which I think they came out with not that long ago. That might be their most recent fragrance to join that family. I received a small little sample and I like it. I didn't really love it. I didn't feel compelled to go out and purchase, but it is a very nice fragrance. This Valentino Pink, very close. Probably a fraction of the cost as well. I always like to go back and freshen up my blotter. When you try it again the second time, it is night and day difference from the dry down, even just a few minutes to the initial spray. And sometimes you can even pick up a new note, something that you didn't discover the first time you sprayed it. This is a very playful, flirty, could be daytime, but I think it would be really nice during the evening. Next, I chose Gucci Rush, which is an oldie, but it's a goodie, and it is unapologetically sexy and addictive. This fragrance is so beautiful, and it does give me 90s vibes. It sort of has throwback appeal. I remember this fragrance from high school, so I guess part of me thinks of getting in trouble, playful, sneaking out to meet your high school boyfriend type of fragrance, which I don't know why you would want to smell like that now, but it will take you back in time, that's for sure. It was first introduced in 1999, so it's over 20 years old. It contains gardenia, freesia, jasmine, vanilla, and patchouli. It's described as euphoric and intoxicating. I completely agree, and that is how I would like to smell on a date. So let me go ahead and spray. Oh, it is so good. Every time. It is so incredible. And there are not a lot of fragrances that smell like this now. I feel like there are so many fragrances that are launched now that smell so similar. Like everything is a new interpretation of Flower Bomb. Everybody's trying to recreate that same success over and over and over again. You get kind of sick of it. You get fragrance fatigue and you want something that's going to stimulate your senses again. That's what Gucci Rush does for me. It is unlike anything else in my collection. It is sexy. I don't wear this fragrance that often, and I don't think my husband and I have ever gone out dancing, which we will have to change right after quarantine. But this would be the type of fragrance that I would wear for a night out, like a sweaty night out on the town when you're going to go to dinner and drinks afterwards, and you're just going to spend all night out and about. Here I have one of my all-time favorite fragrances. This is Chloe Nomad. It's probably the one exception in that I don't think it's incredibly youthful, playful, flirty, but it is incredibly sexy. It's a bit spicy. So beautiful for date night though, so I had to include it on the list. I picked up the Rollerball earlier this summer. Haven't sprayed it very much, as you can see. Then again, I haven't done very much. Nomad is a warm floral fragrance with oak moss, freesia, and mirabelle liquor. All right. It's so pretty. This fragrance is so unique. I think this is one of the most unexpected fragrance launches I've ever experienced, because when I think of the original Chloe or Chloe Roses, and those fragrances are tough to beat. They're classics. They're just so fresh, floral, feminine. This is so different from that. I remember the first time I smelled Nomad, I was instantly hooked. It's very spicy and there's something about it. It truly makes you feel like packing a bag and hitting the road, going on an adventure. I just imagine like leather fringe, very boho, driving out west somewhere. I have this whole picture in my mind. I probably saw it in the fragrance ad. The opposite of fresh floral, the opposite of feminine, kind of simple and expected, which is why it's such a departure from the original Chloe. If somebody's going to take you on a wild, adventurous kind of date, then Chloe Nomad is truly the perfect fragrance. Or maybe you just want to bring a confident, adventurous spirit to your date, then you can wear Chloe Nomad. Works both ways, I guess. You can wear the fragrance to match the occasion or wear the fragrance to match the mood that you want to project into the world. Hypnotic Poison by Dior is my next choice. This fragrance is date night in a bottle, and there's something a little bit different about it, something cheeky. This is another oldie goldie. It's described as mysterious and mesmerizing, extravagant and bewitching. Hypnotic Poison is a magic potion for modern times. It contains bitter almond, caraway spice, sambac jasmine, cinnamon, tuberose, vanilla, musk, mosses. Oh, so nice. One more for good luck. It's so beautiful. Hypnotic Poison is date night. It is so sexy. It is very bold. It is not messing around. When you wear Hypnotic Poison, people are going to smell you a mile away and they are going to be incredibly attracted to you. From what I've seen and heard from other people, it's one of the most complimented fragrances. I always hear that men are drawn to this fragrance and men just love it and they eat it up and they just want more and more. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I know my husband does really like this fragrance, and of course you should wear fragrance for yourself. I don't know if that matters to you, but I can see why people are attracted to this fragrance. I don't think it's just men, because women are also attracted to it and that's why they want to wear it. I think it just has mass appeal. Something about it truly is intoxicating. In my personal experience, this fragrance is a powerhouse. When I wear Hypnotic Poison, I feel sexy and feminine and powerful and confident. And it's usually because I'm wearing it for a date night and I am dressed up. You know, I have my hair and makeup, the whole outfit. This fragrance is the ultimate accessory. It's like the cherry on top of that perfect date. Number 8 on my list is Si Passion. This is from Giorgio Armani, and sadly I only have this little baby bottle. This is how I fell in love. I received it as a deluxe sample, and I never really thought about this fragrance. You know, it was never on my radar. I really like the original Si. I don't think I would have sought out this fragrance had I not received it as a sample. And it's not even a little spray, which would have been really convenient. Oh my gosh, I don't want to... It just has this little pop top, which with a tiny little glass fragrance bottle is the scariest thing ever. I'm sure you can see why I don't wear it that often, but when I do, I'm just so surprised at how nice it is. I guess it's sort of pretty for travel. I love it. It's beautiful. It is so fruity floral. If you love fruity floral fragrances, you will love this. Keynotes include rose and woody vanilla, but it starts off with a burst of sparkling pear, which is why it smells so fruity. And then that rose in the heart. Of course, you guys know I love rose. And then the woody vanilla. So it dries down and it has this creaminess. It becomes more of a fruit smoothie. It's so beautiful. One day I'm just going to have to invest in one of the small bottles, or maybe there's a travel size, because this little bottle scares me. But it's a beautiful fragrance. And it's the passion. I don't know why I put an accent on it, but it just feels like a date night fragrance. And it's red, so it's romantic. It's just meant to be worn for a passionate love affair, something like that. Definitely a fun night out on the town. Coming in at number 9 is Whispers of Admiration by House of Sillage. I also have the full-size cupcake, but I love it so much, and this little travel size is incredibly convenient and somehow just as beautiful and impressive. Now, my 2 favorites from the Whispers in the Garden collection, Whispers of Truth, Whispers of Admiration. In my mind, Whispers of Truth is a little bit more daytime appropriate. It's also special occasion appropriate. I think that is a very bridal fragrance. But Whispers of Admiration is playful, fun, flirty. I think this is a very sexy date night fragrance. It's a little bit sweet. It's a little bit fruity. It's a little bit everything. incredibly feminine, and it is a standout for me. It has keynotes of peach, gardenia, and vanilla. I love gardenia. Gardenia and rose, those are two of my favorite middle notes. I love vanilla, and I love the peach right off the top. So in some ways, I guess it has that same structure as the C Passion, in that you get that burst of fruit, a creamy, delicious floral heart, and then the trail is nice and smooth. Let me go ahead and spray. It's been a while since I've sprayed this. Wow. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. This is the perfect fragrance for a summer date night. I know this is going to sound so ridiculous, but when I was smelling all of the Whispers in the Garden collection fragrances, I was so happy that my favorite of all of them came in the pink bottle. It's the little things, but I knew that the pink cupcake was so cute. Turns out it's my favorite fragrance. All right, last but not least, if you've made it this far and you are still watching, I want you to pause the video right now, go ahead and pause it, and comment down below. Let me know either your guess, what you think number one is going to be, or your recommendation for the best fun and flirty date night fragrance. I love reading your recommendations. I currently have a list in my phone of all of the fragrances that you've sent me, things that I know I need to go out and try as soon as stores open up, and that's possible. So go ahead, pause it, let me know what you think the number one fragrance is going to be. The number one fun and flirty date night fragrance is none other than the queen herself, Mrs. Delina by Parfum de Marly. And that was sort of a trick question because I would not put this fragrance in a box date night. I wouldn't put it in any box. I think this could be a very bridal fragrance. I think it could be your everyday fragrance. It's a signature scent. It's so many things all in one. But when I was picking out fragrances and I was going through, I smelled this and I thought, yep, it's fun, it's flirty, it's date night. It's just beautiful. I love everything about it. Have to spray one more time. One more spray for good luck. Wow. Every single time I feel blown away by Delina. It's so beautiful. It's feminine, it's kind of spicy but sweet at the same time. And I remember reading that that was the inspiration behind it. The perfumer wanted to create that sense of duality of the modern woman. Kind of fierce, powerful, but also soft, feminine, sweet at the same time. Perfection in a bottle. I mean, that's the only way I can really describe it. To this day, I have not met anybody who didn't like it. Somebody did comment on a video once and they said, me, I'm raising my hand, I don't like Delina. That's the only person that I have ever met, talked to, heard from that said they didn't absolutely love this fragrance. When I worked in store as a beauty stylist, every time I would show this fragrance to somebody, the reaction was always, wow, oh my gosh, what is that? I have to have it. What's the price again? Okay, maybe I don't have to have it because it is a bit pricey. Most of the time, brides were like, sure, put it on my plastic, no big deal. You know, if you had a special occasion coming up, you wouldn't think twice about it because it's so special and you want to have a special fragrance to mark a special occasion. Date nights should be a special occasion, especially now. I don't think we will ever take for granted being able to just go out and enjoy a simple meal. I know I certainly won't. I don't think we have been on a proper date since Valentine's Day. It's kind of crazy. Let me tell you what's in it. Turkish rose, lily of the valley, peony, a fruity trio of lychee, rhubarb, and bergamot, spiced with nutmeg. Cashmere wood and musk give it depth. The mystery is in the notes because I remember smelling this and thinking, what is that? What is in that fragrance? Because you get the lychee and the rhubarb and you don't smell those notes that often. They aren't very common like rose, jasmine, things that you find in just about every single fragrance out there. So it kind of piques your interest and you want to keep smelling it and keep smelling it and try to put your finger on what is it about this fragrance that is so remarkable. But it's the combination of everything. It's the sweet and fruity facet. You also have this beautiful bouquet. You have the spices, the musk. It's all of those things wrapped up in this beautiful package. And the bottle is just amazing. Not just because it is pink, it is a beautiful shade of pink, but this is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, perfume bottles that I currently own. And that completes my list of fun, flirty date night fragrances. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, questions down below. I love hearing from you guys. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned, everything on my face, down in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.